Go ahead and put in the joint. Was that Command Z? Ugh. No, Command. What was it?
V.
Command
There
V.
you go.
Boom. Song of the day. Boo-doo.
Mm-hmm.
That was a notification that we're going live.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just got that.
That's always
Wait,
been. We know.
hmm?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I went,
Mm-hmm.
like all the email things. It's like,
But when you go get gas at a gas station,
Yeah.
you walk out and you get an email and a text message
Yeah.
and another email. It's like you just spent
or like,
$16.88, and you're
you
like,
know, Venmo and Cash App. It's
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's like I'm gonna send my friend money for beer or eggplant, whatever the fuck stupid emojis are, and then you'll get a text message and an email. It's like you sent so and so this much money. Text message, you sent so and so. I know, I just did it. I just did it. You
I
know?
also don't think it's
Is it a
there's,
literally just
security
did that.
thing?
there's any kind of relevance to why you're
Sure,
sending
no,
someone
okay.
money. You know?
It did catch that senator guy.
Matt Gates?
Mm-hmm.
That nigga stupid.
He probably would have been caught all anyway.
So dumb.
Hey, first of all, shitty person.
Oh, yeah.
Second of
Terrible
all,
person.
oh yeah, hey, we live, but we're not starting yet. But we live. Stupid as fuck, shitty person, but dumb as fuck too. Like, if you're gonna do stupid shit, if you're gonna do fucked up shit, at least do it the right way.
So in
You know
this
what I'm saying?
context,
Like,
stupid and dumb are two different actions.
yes.
Okay,
Well, stupid
cool.
and dumb are different. They're different.
So it'd been
different now.
It would have been like
I've met a really smart dumb motherfucker.
uh,
I've never met a smart stupid motherfucker.
Okay, I see where you're going.
You
So
feel me?
I don't
Okay, I got you.
I don't
I got
necessarily
The,
know
the regular
pretenses.
9 to 5
Oh.
like does engineer shit.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
it's smart as shit, but dumb when it comes to certain things because
That's
they
fair.
not been out here. But astute, you can't.
The
fuck was
house
that?
is falling down.
Something broke. I'm gonna check it out real quick.
Yeah, you can't fix stupid though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mhm.
You can't fix stupid.
No, you
That's
can't.
that's just real. Yeah.
It's
Yep,
oh
this
Lord.
man, this saucy ass too.
Saucy.
Shouts out to the homie Joey Forward Clothing. Forward Clothing. Check the motherfuckers out. Forward Clothing, my guy. My G over here in the smoky, flowy.
The smoky flows.
The smoky flowy over here. My guy got the plaid. He's not over here right now, but he's got the plaid on.
Yeah, it sounds like the dogs
know.
are trying to bring the house down. Maybe.
It's
Who knows?
just random action movie noise in your house.
I have no idea what that was.
Just random John Wick slipped through and dipped out.
Yeah, you know.
Break glass and
That's
dip
what we
it
at.
out.
But these headphones is different, bro.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm further away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like the Dre's have more bass in them or something.
Well, it's because they do.
It's just a lot of mids. I gotta get used to hearing my voice in this vibe.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I'm already lit.
Cool.
So you guys are in for a treat.
Oh yeah, we're live. Hey.
Hey.
Are we going?
Yeah.
Is that already going?
You can do the thing.
You doing the thing? What's up? What's happening, world? This is a podcast called Friends, Facts, and Fiction, Episode 6, Season 3, The History of Psychology. Oh, really? About psychology.
No.
The whole season's not about the history of. But anyway, I'm Justin Hammonds. I'm looking at my boy Drew Shownut.
That's me. And this episode is actually called Freud Rage.
Freud Rage. Nice.
I see that.
There. And my boy Graham brother here.
I don't get it.
Oh.
Sauced up, sauced out. We in here. You know what I'm saying? Episode 6. Thank y'all for tuning in. Last week was a fucking crazy. I hope that y'all listened. People that are seeing this live right now, hope y'all listened on Friday. Once again, we do live stream every Monday, 7:30. Facebook, Twitch, Periscope. Right?
Yeah.
Periscope, YouTube, all that good shit. We're live every Monday. But we're here again talking about psychology, and today is obviously going to be about Sigmund Freud. Everybody's hate or love of psychology. Crazy motherfucker, but without him, I mean, shit.
He did hate to love.
Well, I mean, we wouldn't talk to crazy people. We'd just fucking like, he crazy, fuck it, lock him up. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, we ain't came further from that, honestly. Since
Yes,
him.
and without him, we wouldn't have figured out nasal irrigation.
That's okay.
We'll get into that a little bit later too, though.
All right. Well, there's that.
I like
Nasal irrigation. Oof. Shouts out to Coca-Cola. Anyway, so being that this is such a thick subject today, we're gonna slide straight into the song of the day, which is provided by my guy, Grant Bramlett.
Oh, I'll say the name of the song now then. It's called Weight Off, as in body weight. You know,
Off.
Weight.
Yeah.
Off.
Weight off.
Get it off.
By Bad Bad Not Good, an amazing band, Canadian band. Learned
Canadian
that
band.
today.
They had some dope shit with Ghostface Killer, actually.
And then the link that's in there, and then for
It's
you,
the Catronata link, the Catronata Weight Off.
all you Spotify people that'll get to listen to it, or all the podcast audio people that get to listen to the little clippy.
Yeah.
That is Catronata, also Canadian.
Hey, he's Canadian too.
Yeah, he's also Canadian.
That's one of Anderson .Paak
DJ
homies.
that did a version of it. That's super dope.
Super fire.
Nice.
Check it out. But yeah, we're gonna slide straight into these hot facts.
We're just gonna sit here for 15 seconds and not say anything.
I just wanted to see what Justin was going to say.
It's a dope track. I love the fucking song. Everybody know it's. You know the song. If you don't know the song, listen to the damn song. It's fire. All my peoples know the song. Anyway, we're sliding to these hot facts. Let's go.
Okay, I'll talk now.
Okay, where?
Oh yeah.
Grant's got the hot facts.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know who was going first.
So
honestly.
more than any other figure in the annals of psychology.
Gross.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant
Said
annals.
annals of psychology. What the fuck is that?
I'm kidding. That could be called a Freudian slip. Am I
Hey!
right?
Oh, Freudian
Slipped right in them anals. I mean,
wow.
The annals
Hey.
of psychology.
Hey, too wet, so I swam to the butt. Lil Wayne reference right there.
Gross.
Anyway,
a little beer in my nostrils. I was not expecting that.
So,
Yeah,
Sigmund
man.
Freud
Left
has been
turns.
both extravagantly praised and savagely castigated for his theories, venerated and condemned as a person, and regarded as a great scientist, a cult leader, and a fraud. His admirers and critics agree.
Freud was a fraud.
Man,
That's
More like a
little
Freudian
alliteration.
slip.
Little alliteration there.
there we go.
Anyway,
His admirers and critics agree that his impact on psychology, the psychotherapies, and the way human beings in Western society think about themselves has been larger than that of anyone else in the history of this science. For the rest, they seem to be talking about different people and different bodies of knowledge. Some have said his writing is perhaps the most important of thought committed to paper in the 20th century. And others condemn his work as the most stupendous intellectual confidence trick of the century.
Yeah. I mean, I can see that.
It's that hard split of like you either love this motherfucker or you hate this motherfucker.
I mean,
either he's like genius or he's the most fucking baboon motherfucker, just crazy ass dude ever.
Yeah, like the most profound of all the depth psychologists, or a cocaine-addled, false, and faithless prophet.
He did love cocaine
for a while.
Yeah, he loved cocaine.
It really
and
is
tobacco,
crazy,
actually.
Yeah, it really is crazy how like one person can be loved and hated so much, right? And he himself was a contradiction. A militarist born into a Jewish family in anti-Semitic Vienna at the time that had radical theories on human nature while holding politically conservative views. Right? And his first big break into the scene, so to say, was all about liberal sexuality, but he held himself as a model of decorum and sexual restraint.
That's an odd bag.
Right.
This guy.
So a little bit of backstory. Freud was actually born Sigismund Freud.
Sigismund Shlomo.
Sigismund
Shlomo.
Shlomo.
Yeah.
My guy name was Shlomo.
Shlomo.
So he Shlomo.
On May 6th of 1856.
So he took his time.
Uh-huh.
Right.
And made it to 83 years young.
Right.
Smoking a fuck ton, by the way.
Yeah,
Lots
smoking
and
shit.
lots of cigars for that guy.
He thought tobacco made his brain work better.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that was the vibe.
Well, I
That's
mean, back in the day when it wasn't like riddled with,
I mean, doctors used to be like, "Hey, smoke some cigarettes, you'll be all right."
or you know, like
That is true.
all the
Here's
chemicals
a
that
little
are
cocaine,
in those.
smoke a cigarette, you'll be fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Or you got tuberculosis, don't worry about it.
No,
Smoke a
it's okay.
cig, do some you good.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah.
of course, he is a neurologist and the founder of psychoanalysis, which is a clinical method for treating psychopathology through dialogue between a patient and a psychoanalyst. He's the first of 8 children, and to be honest, his family confuses the fuck out of me.
It's the first of 8? That's
Uh-huh.
nuts.
So I think the first 8, or of these 8 children that he's part of, are from his parents, but his dad was married twice before, and I'm pretty sure each of those marriages had kids. So I
Mhm.
don't know if some of these 8 are involved in that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't read deep enough to be honest with you. I had a lot
So
of other shit to do.
So both his parents remarried and had more children.
No. His dad did. His dad married 3 times. And
Oh,
the
wow.
third marriage is his mother, who was 20 years younger than
Oh.
him.
He had him a little sugar baby.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
20
Little
years.
sugar
20
baby.
years younger.
A
That's
little interesting
crazy.
tidbit that's pops up everywhere, which is kind of hilarious.
Mhm.
But old Shlomo was born with a caul.
My gosh,
Right?
Shlomo.
And that's Caul, caul,
A call.
which is
Oh,
like
the meat bag on the face.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which translates literally to helmeted head, by the way.
Call.
And it's
Mm.
like this membrane that can cover a newborn's head and face when they're born, which is what happens like 1 in 80,000 births.
It's like a huge pimple.
It's like basically a giant foreskin.
Yeah,
put
on
over.
your head.
Yeah.
See, he's a
Yeah.
dickhead.
Yeah. That may have been his call to arms.
Could have been his calling.
Mm.
Yeah. That's a
Cute.
whole dark hole. Before we get deep into the call, let's just slide
Or
up out
before
of
the
there.
call gets deep into you.
Oof.
His mom thought it was a good omen, and it's apparently really easy to
Mhm.
remove after they're
Good.
born.
It's a good luck because he was born with skin on his face.
Apparently.
Extra skin on his
That
face.
was like a thing back then.
Hmm.
It was like it's an omen that it's going to be a great person. You know what I
Oh,
mean? And
cute.
in some ways, she weren't wrong.
I mean,
She twernt.
we're still talking about the motherfucker, so yeah, guess she was right. You
Did
know?
something right.
Yeah. So until he was 9, he was homeschooled by his very, very young and apparently attractive mother.
Oh, he's top of his class.
So that's
Mm-hmm.
but then he entered high school at 9, and I'm not even going to attempt
He
to
entered
pronounce.
high school at 9?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. I'm not even going to try to
Terrifying.
pronounce the name of this high school, by the way, so we're just going to slide right past all that. He proved to be an outstanding pupil and graduated with honors. He loved literature and was proficient in German, French, Italian, Spanish, English, Hebrew, Latin, and Greek.
So he's insane. Yeah, he's insane.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
He
You got to be somewhat psychopathic to have many languages in your brain.
It's crazy. I can't
Like,
imagine.
and like, cheer everybody that's like bilingual, trilingual, whatever.
I mean, as
but, like,
Americans, we really dropped the ball. on
yeah,
that.
we definitely dropped the ball. But like more than like 3 languages, like well versed in 3 languages,
and you're not
you're
paid
crazy.
to do that.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
you're not like an
yeah.
interpreter
Yeah,
and you know 9 languages,
Yeah, you're nuts.
that's crazy.
You're nuts. Cheers to
Uh,
you though for
yeah.
keeping it together.
He went to University of Vienna at 17 to study law. Gave that up real quick after discovering philosophy, psychology, physiology, and zoology. And the zoology didn't last too long due to a fruitless search for eel dicks.
Oh, he liked the dicks, huh?
Yeah.
Oh,
There are a lot of them.
Animal dick
Dissected.
boy, huh?
Dissected hundreds of eels looking
Oh.
for the penis.
Oh, Shlomo wanted the pipe.
Neat thing. We actually still don't know how water eels reproduce. Males,
What?
when they go into like a sexual maturation,
Yeah.
their dicks kind of disappear. Yeah, it's crazy. I actually looked into this. I was like, why couldn't he find the eel dick? You know what I mean?
Well, that
And I
they're
did to it, and I was like, holy shit, we
does it
still can't find the eel dick.
does it pass through like the like
I'm serious.
like the
Motherfuckers.
electrical current or something? Like then they like and they're electric?
There's electricity involved. It has nothing to do with dicks.
Does that pass? I mean, is that like was that the inception or conceiving of a child in eels?
No,
No.
eels do not conceive through electricity.
Thorfish.
So listen, I had a grand idea. I'm living in a Marvel universe, guys. Don't worry about it. I'm halfway through my super soldier serum, so I'm learning new things. Don't worry about it.
So then he jumped to people, where he spent 6
He
years.
started searching for dicks, people.
Yep. No.
It was a huge pandemic of dickless people going around.
Where's his dick?
Where's his dick?
known as
Somebody suck that baby's dick.
women.
Cuba Gooding Jr. Hey, Cuba Gooding Jr.
I know.
Search suck that baby's dick. Cuba Gooding Jr.
That's
Great
also
video.
known as women, which
Suck that
still
baby's dick.
confused him life. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, if you didn't have a dick, he was like, "Why don't you have a dick?" That was his whole
Yeah,
thing.
it's like if
That was his whole
anybody,
thing.
it's like, oh, she's mad because she doesn't have a dick. That's what it is. You know?
That was one of his things. It's literally like women are anxious they don't have dicks.
Yeah, penis.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
no, I think they're probably pissed because we have dicks and we're fucking us. Like men are men. That's why women are pissed. Anyway,
women don't like the fact that we want to put our dick in anything,
Yeah.
anywhere, all the
Exactly.
time.
Mhm.
they're probably
That's what
more
it is.
pissed that they have a fucking vagina. To be honest, like they're more vulnerable. Like you
In
know
that
what I mean?
sort
Like,
of like, please
anyway.
get away from me. Way.
Yeah,
Yes, of course,
exactly.
I agree.
Like being shit, like as they should be. There's a lot of creepers out there.
No, but he spent 6 years comparing human brains to frog
I'm
brains.
talking about shit there. Human brain, frog brains.
Uh-huh.
Huh?
Which is part of how we discovered the neuron in the 1890s, oddly enough.
Huh.
And he was one of the first people to detect and single out cerebral palsy much earlier than doctors thought at the time.
Wow.
Mm-hmm,
That's real. I mean, it did a lot of dope shit.
Yeah. He had to serve in the military for a year, which for him was time to translate for by John Stuart Mills, a very important English philosopher and socio-political thinker.
Okay.
So I guess instead of learning how to break down a gun, he's translating philosophical essays.
I mean, everybody has their own stick, you know.
That's
what I mean?
true, man. But shortly after he got his MD, he went into medicine at the Vienna General Hospital, where he did the fairly normal and expected work of, you guessed it, the effects of cocaine on the brain.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what all med students do. I mean,
I mean,
yeah.
I
That's-
know
I mean,
I
I
can't.
know a few med students, and they definitely are focused on the effects of cocaine on the brain. That's for fucking sure, especially after about midnight.
I mean, you know,
I'm just saying.
it's a tough job.
I mean,
A lot of hours.
you know, you gotta stay alert.
Stay woke.
Stay woke. Yeah, stay woke. Turn up.
So,
We out here.
so while chewing coca leaves, had kind of been a staple in the Andes, like South America, for like several millennia. It didn't travel well, and was emphasized in 1855 by Frit Gaedic,
Okay.
Oh, Gaedic.
who named it
Gaedke.
Gaedic.
I thought it was gay dick. I didn't know.
Oh man, that's just not nice. So he named it. Oh Jesus,
What's that word there?
erythroxylin.
Boom.
Damn,
Nailed
you
it.
got that.
So
Nailed it.
One go. Look at this guy.
I've not looked at pill bottles before in my life.
Mhm.
But, a less tongue tripping name was named in the 1880s as cocaine.
Okay.
Yeah,
Hmm.
as well as the refinement of its purification processes, and was being touted as a cure-all, like you mentioned before.
Mhm.
Cure off about 20 minutes.
Yeah. Then you're going to have to cure all some more. your ass more out your wallet.
I've never experienced it. I've never experienced
I don't know what
it,
you're
but
talking about, and I don't know where I just came up with those words.
I've never experienced it in my life, but yeah, I know. It's crazy.
But Freud learned of his new wonder drug, Wunderdrug, from a journal called the Therapeutic Gazette, which was owned by Park Davis, now a subsidiary of Pfizer.
Oh shit! I got the Pfizer in my arm, my guy.
Ah.
They really good at making dicks hard.
Is that what happened when you
Yeah,
got
Pfizer.
your...
True.
Yeah, the Viagra people.
I was
Yeah.
about to say, is that what happened when you got your
No,
vaccine?
no. The
Sorry,
nurse-
guys, don't look. Yes, officer, I was driving over this, but have you seen this?
The nurse was cute though. It's nice. Anyway,
Also,
Well-
I love the fact that one of the main makers of the vaccine right now also got most of their money by making dick pills, and then apparently a company that was selling
Selling
cocaine.
coke.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, you so yay, damn.
There's
I see the problem.
Yeah,
here.
you might want to. So it's almost like hymns,
I'm gonna get
because
out of there.
because hair replace supplements. But if
But
you look into the fine
also-
print like I did,
Makes your dick go soft.
it makes your dick go soft. But they
Mhm.
sell dick pills too, so it's a trifecta.
You know what you do? The people that sell also sell the cure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah. Let's get
So,
back to the hot
Pfizer-
facts.
Pfizer offered at the time 28-year-old Freud $24
Ooh.
to endorse their merch.
Shit, $24 back then was like 3,000.
It was a lot back
Nah,
then, especially it was
Those are
way
not facts.
more.
Those are not facts. I'm spitballing.
So Merck, another pharmaceutical company, also sent samples to the ambitious young University of Vienna neuropathology research assistant, who we call Freud.
Mhm.
Suffice to say, he was an enthusiastic early adapter of this, obviously. And he
Mhm.
thought that Coke was going to be his, like fame and fortune, like his new big thing.
Oh, like a real estate developer in Miami in the 80s.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Or someone high on coke that has coke to prescribe to people.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you broke your toe? Listen, I got you.
Yeah.
Just
So both
You
both
your
the
toe's fine. Don't worry about the
physical
toe.
and psychological effects were instantly attractive, obviously.
You don't say.
And in correspondence, Freud described how he had started taking it against depression and against indigestion, and with brilliant success. By the way.
Mhm.
By the end of that, he published a paper called Uber Coca.
Super cocaine.
Yeah.
Uber Coca sounds like
Uber Coca.
but that's Uber cocaine delivery.
Are you
bro.
coming out to
They're-
the new club called Uber Coca tonight?
Bro, they are slipping. Why is not Uber? Uber doesn't know this yet.
Nice.
Uber
No.
doesn't know this yet.
No, not yet.
Uber Coca, bro. Like
That's
just
actually fun fact. That's how Uber was started.
Uber Coca.
um,
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, but
Probably so.
and in which he describes a gorgeous excitement upon first ingestion and exhilaration and lasting euphoria, which he also noted suppressed fatigue and hunger for some reason.
And a nasal decongestion.
Oh yeah, and it was a nasal
Oh.
decongestion
Oh,
because apparently Homeboy
interesting.
had so much that he was being a Southern person, I've heard this Dale ain't dead, he's just a lap ahead.
Mm-hmm.
That's adorable.
It is adorable.
Yeah.
Well, which means he's dead.
I've never heard that before in my
Haven't
life.
either.
But
Dale
yeah,
ain't dead,
turn-
up ahead,
Hey,
baby.
Hell Dale, baby.
Yeah.
So cute.
But anyway,
Yeah.
Freud
Yeah.
essentially just had that. He was a line above everyone else.
Nice.
Like
Nice.
he's just. I'ma never calm down. When he drank up all his liquor, what's he supposed to do now? So what he
He
did.
was a line ahead.
So he just
Turn up.
he thought it was clearing his nasal cavities, in
So he
which
thought.
he was just clogging his own nasal cavities
Mm.
and unclogging them.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
the most
Shortly
pure way
after.
he knew how to.
I mean, hey, cure all, man. Shouts out to Coca-Cola.
Yeah, because Freud and Coke had Coke and Freud, yeah, they both had a pretty good. However, Freud may have been less on the nose, if you will, when it came to cocaine's addictive properties. He actually writes, "It seems to me noteworthy, and I discovered this in myself and in other observed, capable of judging things for themselves, that a first dose or even repeated doses of coca produce no compulsive desire to the stimulant. Further, on the contrary, one feels a certain unmotivated aversion to the substance."
I massively disagree.
Yeah, you know,
What? He was high when he wrote that.
I ever came down.
Nah.
Literally. I don't think he did.
Till he died of mouth cancer. Yeah, it's just high as fuck.
If one works intensively while under the influence of coca, after from 3 to 5 hours, there is a decline in the feeling of well-being, maybe. And further dose of coca is necessary in order to keep your life going from the fatigue.
So you calm down, and then you do more, and you go back up.
Mm-hmm.
In modern day terms,
So
doing cocaine.
Yeah, and then he started sending samples out to friends in the medical profession.
Mike, so he's the first cartel plug.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a mental stimulant, treat for asthma, an aphrodisiac. You have to wonder if Freud's celebrated interest in sexual abilities and activities was crystallized during a blood 4-hour masturbation marathon.
That's one of his favorite activities was to masturbate.
Yeah. And alarmingly, as a cure for morphine and alcohol addiction.
You just get another addiction.
Yeah.
Replacement. Yeah, he's like, oh, you got this addiction? Listen, I got this cocaine. You just, hey, there you go. Just do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's cool.
He introduced it to, hopefully I don't botch this, but Ernst von Fleischl Marxall. Yeah. A physiologist, friend of his who took morphine for chronic pain, obviously, because morphine is a painkiller.
Yeah, exactly.
And he took pain because of a chronic thumb injury from dissecting a corpse. Which is I would think like maybe you need to go get your tetanus shot, baby.
Like the chronic thumb injury from dissecting.
To me, that sounds like bullshit.
Yeah. What? That's
random. So then like neutralizing the addiction, it actually added another addiction because he was fucked up on morphine.
You don't say.
And now he's fucked up on coke and morphine, so he's speedballing like a mofo. Yeah.
He's fucking, what's his name? The guy. Sherlock Holmes. Oh. Sherlock Holmes was a speedballer, bro.
I was not expecting you to go there.
I wasn't either.
Okay. All right.
Hey man, I got random facts. You know what I mean? Y'all got the hot facts. I got random facts.
Well, I mean, with the with the numbers being what they are now, with expenditures on cocaine, homeboy was spending 600 marks a month. 6,000, not 600, 6,000 marks a month.
What?
And was dead 7 years later after that, like at the age of 45.
6,000.
6,000 marks. That probably would be the equivalent of about 10 to 20,000 nowadays.
So. Yeah.
Like that's straight
crazy,
up.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, heart just explode. Like, that's fucking sad.
Well, there was a more successful medical application discovered by ophthalmologist friend.
Ophthalmologist, bro?
Yeah, ophthalmologist.
It is.
An eyeball doctor.
Eyeball friend.
Eyeball
Carl Kohler. The first to figure out that cocaine's numbing effects could be used as a local anesthetic. That's why you get like not cocaine, but Novocaine when you go to the dentist
Novocaine.
and stuff like that. The cane in it is the reddening.
Novocaine, baby.
I
Frank Ocean.
am
Yeah, Novocaine.
legitimately concerned that this car Kohler just. I mean, you think he was dusting cocaine on their eye before cutting into it, or like did he liquefy it and then inject it into
Do you
the
feel this yet?
I
eyeball?
think it's more like just rub his fingers in it and just like get in the corners real quick. Get it all right up in here.
God, that sounds horrible.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta think most of these motherfuckers was biting wooden spoons and shit back in the day, bro. And saying,
Yeah,
fuck it, let's go.
Well, I mean, he didn't really have the same like taste for the drug that Freud had either, though.
Freud had a taste, that's for damn sure.
Which we know because a used sample was found in 1995 among a collection of his papers housed in the Library of Congress reading room. Freud would have just licked the baggie clean, you know. Like
What they had,
if you have extra,
what they had coke in there from 1800s
Apparently, yeah.
mm-hmm.
in the Library of Congress in 95.
Mm-hmm.
They was lit that day.
Yeah,
But that sample doesn't exist no more.
I bet it doesn't.
I don't know. The fact that we feel like that was just like a little cataloging nerd was like flipping through. Like,
oh, look,
what
cocaine.
in the world is this?
Mhm.
You know, brings it to someone else. Is like, why do you have a bag of cocaine? And he's like, what is this? And drops it immediately. You know,
Yeah.
and they're like, we must tell the authorities. You know,
Maybe.
nerds.
Maybe. Or they're like, this shit was dope this one day. You remember we was in the joint and like we found it. You remember? Because, you know, yeah, it happened. It was wild, bro.
Well, such was the wide-eyed zeal
Mm.
with which Freud's professional colleagues were experimenting with a powdery panacea that things were bound to get a little hairy, you know.
A little hairy.
Yeah, a little hairy. So sure enough, Dr. Wilhelm Fleiss, a German ear, nose, and throat specialist, published a paper entitled "The Relation Between the Nose and the Female Soul Organs."
Wait, hold on. It's a connection. No, wait, run it back. Run it back.
No, you got it. Drew will explain.
Yeah.
Connection
Right
of
now.
the nose
yeah.
and the female.
Yeah. Well, so he speculated that the nose a microcosm of the body, and any ailment could be treated by finding its corresponding location in one's nose. A theory Freud entertained so much that he would end up needing operations to unblock nose, as would Fleiss.
Wow. I can't. I'm processing all this. Hey, man, what?
But this drug was good for nose irrigation.
Keep reading.
So it was while trying to treat a woman for hysteria, a neurosis then believed to emanate from the vagina, that Freud and Fleiss botched operation and almost killed the patient. Later immortalized as Emma in the Interpretation of Dreams, where Freud kind of glosses over an episode that today would have led to a little bit of disgrace.
I mean,
a
all of this is
a lost license to malpractice, maybe even lawsuits, you know, kind of maybe some jail time or something, you know. Instead, Freud would elaborate the various theories forming the bedrock of psychoanalyst concepts such as ID, ego, and superego, libido as free-floating sexual energy, the Oedipus Complex, all the while delving out massive quantities of cocaine to the middle-class Viennese, neurotics.
Wow.
I have to go back just a little bit.
This is the beginning of this guy. This is like,
check it out.
Start off.
They're all jacked up on cocaine. Like he's got
Turn
this
up.
ear, nose, and throat ENT hooked on it as well. And then they both decide that hysteria is from a woman's vagina, and the nose is connected to the vagina.
Yeah.
And so they do such an invasive nose operation that they almost killed a woman.
Mm-hmm.
It's wild. like, bro, like, I can't, like, what? Like, we're so far removed from even thinking so randomly like that. I mean, this is 1800s. You know what I mean? As well.
Mm-hmm.
But like, what? Like, seriously? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what? How do you
Right.
even?
Mhm.
Oh, cocaine. Yeah, that's how you get there.
Well, I
Okay.
mean, it
Yeah,
took,
that's,
right.
that's how you get to that
Yes,
idea. That's how you get there. It's like, so I mean, it's like I'm crazy. Like, she comes around. What? Like, I don't know, like what to do.
You need your
Yeah.
carburetor fixed.
Cocaine.
Oh wait, they ain't been invented yet.
It's a carburetor, not vagina.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's what fucked me up. That's what fucked me up. That's why I was crazy because that's where they were at. Couldn't picture this motherfucker in a dark ass like just room, just like writing shit and like studying, high as shit, just like what? Why am I so crazy? Oh, vagina.
Oh, vagina. That's it. It ain't just cocaine I've been put
It
up
ain't
my
the
nose
cocaine
for
I've been
20 years
doing.
now.
Or the fact that I've been searching for ill dicks for years. Or like the fact that I'm just crazy any fucking way. Like,
Or very obviously have an Oedipus complex, which I named.
She's mental. Yeah,
right.
he had major mental
Yeah, he
issues,
did.
and cocaine did not help those issues.
Well, so it took French philosophers Deleuze and Felix Guattari to take down the psychoanalysis, and honestly depicts kind of the three parts of Freud's career: the exploration, pioneering, and revolutionary element, the free form of so which is the free form of desire, and in the libido was kind of discovered in that. The classicist who imposes Oedipal myth and on that throbbing unconscious factor.
Shit, throbbing, huh?
I knew you would say something. Trapping desire in the family.
Trapping desire?
Yeah.
The throbbing trapped desire?
Well, I mean,
That's
the
what
whole
I heard,
Oedipus,
but-
like the father versus the son kind of a deal, or the, father with the mother, or father versus the son, or the I'm going to give up because the father's going to decapitate my penis.
So basically, I want to kill my mom, but dad wants to chop my dick off. So I should kill dad anyway.
Well, honestly, the way that it was...
well, your moral character is defined by your fear of your dad castrating you, because he's discovered that he won and marry his
that's
wife,
some
your mother.
Neanderthal shit, bro. That's not... It's crazy.
That's Freud, baby.
That motherfucker crazy.
Yeah. He was
He wanted to smash his moms, bro, like, personally.
Yeah, he was a little
And
bit
he
more...
thought everybody wanted to just smash their moms and kill
a little
their
bit more
pops.
Scarface than Capone, kind of a guy, you know what I mean?
Crazy. This motherfucker called me again.
Well,
anyway.
It's live.
Hey, we live, baby.
So, despite its enduring popularity among those with disposable income to the burn on sophistic chatter, today many obviously psychoanalysts in their respective fields discredit that discipline. Good for little more than jokes on like Frasier. It's always thought it a suit. Freud himself obviously hoped that it would be proven as a neuroscience. Even before the founder's copious coke habit, which we all know was quite substantial and rather substance abuse than addiction. Skeptics also point to the influence of cocaine in his masterwork, The Interpretation of Dreams, where I see myself as a snowman with a carrot nose, stood in a vast field of pristine snow, all of which suddenly melts, as then do I, my nose falling off and leaving me with a feeling of profound emptiness. So this is obviously about the fertility of anxiety, the carrot your penis kind of deal, and obviously the snow was quite obvious.
I think we all know
that
what the snow is. I mean, if you're not tuned in yet, snow is cocaine. But
yeah. So his endeavors ended abruptly in 1896 after his father's funeral. Kind of hard to believe he could have interpreted this as a mere coincidence, although it does make you wonder how European intellectual history might have panned out if Freud wouldn't have been a part of it.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, it really is.
I mean, it probably could have been more brutal if he wasn't involved, honestly.
Yeah.
You know what I
Mhm.
mean? At least he came through with the wild fucking like coke ideas
Mm.
rather than like cutting people open alive and fucking busting people's brains out to see if their brain has electricity in it and shit. Like that probably would have been
Mhm.
if he didn't have cocaine in his room by himself. Think it.
In
So,
my room.
So he eventually resigned his hospital post and then entered private practice for nervous disorders. He also married and had 6 children during all this, and
Hmm.
may have had
He
an
had
affair
6
with
children?
his sister-in-law who lived with them.
Mhm.
Or it
course he
could have
did.
just been a rumor spread by his professional frenemy, Carl Jung, of all people.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Carl Jung.
the very, very profound and influential Swiss psychologist,
No, word.
philosopher.
Right on. I was
They
waiting
were,
for you to tell me who the fuck he was. I had no idea.
He's a big fucking deal.
No word.
For
Carl
real.
Yeah.
Jung.
If you don't know,
Right.
you should.
I don't. But thank you for
It's kind of hilarious because they were colleagues at first and collaborators. Then they decided they hate each other for very complex and also petty reasons.
Of course.
Mhm.
It's a whole fucking story.
I imagine they both see themselves as pseudo intellectuals. You know,
Mhm.
I'm right.
Pseudo's
wrong.
ass. Straight up
Yeah,
intellectuals.
That's
yeah.
true. That's
Like,
true.
yeah, they straight up like that type of shit.
Yeah.
We're like,
No.
you're right, I'm wrong,
Mhm.
or no, you're wrong. That's
Mhm.
yeah, it's gonna be a constant battle.
And then back to his tobacco to just kind of outline that real quick. He started with cigarettes at 24 and then turned to cigars. He thought they increased his capacity to work and allowed him to exercise self-control and moderate an addictive substance.
No,
Does that sound familiar?
no. That sounds like
But this, according to him, was mainly a substitute for masturbation, which he said was the one great habit.
so you replace tobacco use with masturbation? Oh no, replace masturbation with tobacco use.
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
And then he also liked smoking tobacco because it gave him something
Brain
to
power.
control. He liked moderating his tobacco intake because, who doesn't want to give themselves a problem on purpose?
Yeah, of course. Especially when you're insane.
Mm-hmm.
In his case, it's fucking psychopath.
Right.
But anyway.
Anyways, in 1885, he went to Paris on a 3-month study hypnosis with Jean-Martin Charcot and used this in his clinical work back at home. He adopted the approach of his friend and collaborator, Joseph Breuer, that instead of using the more theatrical, based hypnosis like Charcot or our buddy from a couple weeks ago, Mesmer.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
mesmerize, my guy.
His was more of a situation of getting the patient to start talking while quote unquote under, right? So now we can all turn our mind's eye to the scene that most of us have of therapy, right? The bearded man in glasses and a tweed blazer with elbow pads sitting in an office filled with certain accolades, and a person lying on an overstuffed chaise lounge, rambling on about the woes of their overprivileged lives. That's
Yeah.
pretty much exactly what was going on.
Yeah. Here's some cocaine for you.
Here's cocaine. Talk to me real quick, bro.
Yeah.
Take a line. Talk to me.
So he concluded that a more consistent and effective symptom relief would be achieved by encouraging patients to talk freely without censorship or inhibition about whatever ideas or memories occurred to them.
Cocaine.
He called this free association.
So
And
he's the first motherfucker to be like, we should just talk to these crazy motherfuckers.
Exactly.
Hey, oh, he's nuts. They crazy. They sporadic.
Yeah.
Give him some cocaine. Let's talk to him.
Let's talk to him. Hey, let's see, hey, Coke, come talk to me real quick.
I mean, for real though,
hit
because
you, a
you
little
are
bump,
not
get
going to
you
be
a
less
line.
enabled in your like.
Right.
Why are you so crazy?
Yeah.
Talk to me. Talk to me.
Association, along with analyzing their dreams, which he thought were mostly the brain repressing emotionally painful experiences that couldn't be processed by the conscious mind. All of this became what he called psychoanalysis. An early conclusion he made from this form of treatment was that the common symptoms of hysteria and obsession were exclusively due to sexual molestation in early childhood, which, of course, was very unpopular at the time.
Well, yeah.
So, like, he thought everybody just went through that type of shit.
Anybody that has hysteria, which is not real, and obsessive compulsive disorders
was molested.
Had to go through
Yeah.
The reason they are that way is because they were molested.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's a hard pull. That's a hard pull out of that, man.
Viennese society at the time was still thoroughly prudish and hypocritical about sexuality. And children especially were seen as pure, right? Like, no, you don't touch. Like, that's just kids don't have those thoughts. Kids don't go through that. What it was, no. But he repeatedly heard patients eventually recall either having sexual feelings early on or memories of molestation. Freud was understandably shocked at first, but he trudged on, my friends. And the notion of hide your kids, they must and everyone around you.
Is it the thing where, like, he would, like, if they denied being molested, he would just, like, shout?
Well, yeah, so
like, force them to admit that they're, like, basically, like, make them feel like they have been.
He applied what he referred to as pressure. So he would hypnotize them and then get them to talk, and then he would keep nudging them and keep nudging them.
Yeah.
Kind of like actually how like police will
police make
make
innocent people feel guilty.
confess,
Yeah.
That's basically
So
what
he
was going
originated that shit too. This motherfucker's wild out here, bro.
And
It's
then
crazy.
honestly,
Cocaine
from
demon.
more scientific approach of it, the issue is how can anyone prove that an interpretation in this scenario is true, right? The therapist, Freud, can surmise to the best of his abilities, and the patient can have that moment epiphany from dredging a memory up and then making connection to a dream symbol she had. Therefore, it's all true, dear God, it's all true. Feels true.
Yeah.
It feels important at the time, right? But it doesn't make it so. I mean, to be fair, he did stumble onto something that there's definitely more than 0 cases of child abuse, especially in a sexually oppressed society. But to draw the conclusion that every obsessive or hysterical adult was molested, it's just fucking ridiculous.
That's crazy.
You know?
It's nuts.
Completely.
That's
And
ridiculous.
obviously the community thought so too, and he was basically shunned. That plus the death of his father, that Drew mentioned earlier, really fucked him up more than it could, considering he kind of hated his father. In fact, he felt torn up by the roots.
Oedipus ass.
Thus,
you know, I get torn up by the roots too, man. There's this song, "The Water" by the Roots. Tears me up every time.
Thus, Freud's own neurotic symptoms became exacerbated, right?
As a window.
Particularly his worries about money, fears of heart disease, obsession with thoughts of death, and a travel phobia. So he turned his chaise lounge upon himself, which I have to say, on a personal note, is just an insane amount of confidence in his own abilities.
Right.
Not only in his belief of his own treatment, but to think that he could even begin to be objective is just asinine.
Yeah. Coming at yourself with no bias.
How the fuck is that even possible?
No,
seriously.
I'm so good, I'm gonna treat myself, bro. I'm so good, I can fix me and everybody else too.
So he put himself through daily scrutiny and made a buddy of his, also mentioned earlier, William Fleiss, his surrogate analyst, mostly through letters. And from time to time, they had, quote unquote, Congress for a couple of days in person. Seriously, what a friend this guy must have been. But here's a little blurb of Freud's result of all this.
I am now experiencing in myself all the things that as a third party I have witnessed going on in my patients. Days when I slink, depressed because I have understood nothing about the day's dreams, fantasies, or mood, and other days when a flash of lightning brings coherence into the picture. Gone before is revealed as preparation for the present.
Shit.
Faceplant.
Oh my god.
So he clearly put himself through some hard work, and he called it unearthing his dung heap.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the crap he dug up was a childish jealousy of a younger brother who died in infancy that left him with guilt, conflicting feelings of love and hate for his father, and a time when he was a little over 2 years old, seeing his mother naked, sexually arousing him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that goes back to the whole joke of him wanting to kill his dad and date his mom.
Oedipus Complex.
Yeah, Oedipus Complex.
So in
Oedipus, the Greek
classical
god thing.
psychoanalytic theory, the Oedipus complex occurs during the phallic stage of the psychosexual development. That's like 3 to 6 years of age. When also occurs the formation of the libido and the ego. Yet some scientists feel that it may manifest itself a little earlier than that. In the phallic stage, decisive psychosexual experience is the Oedipus complex. His son to father competition, like for possession of his mother. Essentially, he sees his dad as a threat through his mother.
Right.
In the third stage of psychosexual development, that the child's genitalia is his or her primary erogenous zone. Become aware of their bodies. They, undress themselves and others in to gratify the curiosity of themselves, and so learning the anatomic differences between male and female and the gender differences between boy and girl.
So this motherfucker he's so wild, like he personal shit, and thought everybody was like him, basically.
And I mean,
everybody went through his mental state of him being attracted to his mom, obviously, and wanting to fucking kill his dad. He thought everybody did that,
right? And then
it went on to trick
to
like
be
this crazy ass life.
and
It's
on top of
nuts.
it, to I guess further cement his theory, is he's observing children around that age that a lot of children are like, check it out, I got a penis.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I got a penis, she got a vagina. That's just like a period in a child's life where they become aware of that. But
weighing her out,
for him to make the connection of, a little kid running around naked in the house, all excited after a bath or something like that, to draw the conclusion that the little boy wants to kill the father and hump the mother.
That's where he was at.
That's where his brain went.
That's where he was at.
That's where his
Him
brain
and all
went.
that. Well, that is psychosexual infantilism. Despite mother being the parent who primarily gratifies the child's desires, the child begins forming a discrete identity, boy to girl, that alters the dynamics of the parents and the children's relationship. The parents become objects of infantile libidinal. The boy directs his libido, or sexual desire, obviously, upon his mother, and directs jealousy and emotional rivalry against his father, because it is he who sleeps with his mother. Moreover, to facilitate union with the mother, the boy's ID wants to kill the father, as did Oedipus, but pragmatic ego, based upon the reality principle, knows that the father is the stronger of the two males competing to possess one female. Nonetheless, the boy remains ambivalent and thinks his dad's going to cut his dick off if he, pursues this.
Like,
yeah, where do you go with that? Where do you go with that?
In the time that is, how was nobody being like, "Hey, bro, you want to talk? You want to talk about it?" Yeah, I mean, nobody just did what he does to people to him. Like, "Hey, bro, come just call me real quick.
I mean,
shit you want to talk about,
his
bro?"
buddy Fleiss was like, he's sending him all these letters, and his buddy Fleiss is like, interesting.
Do you have some more coke?
Hey, bro, I think you need some meds. You
Yeah.
don't need to be doling out meds. You need some meds, my guy. Like,
Well, and
the
then
fuck,
the
bro?
next one is psychologic defense. So in both sexes, defense mechanisms provide transitory resolutions of the conflict between the drives of the ID and the drives of the ego.
Mhm.
The first defense mechanism is repression, the blocking of memories, emotional impulses, and from the conscious mind, yet its action does not, really resolve the ID ego conflict. The second defense mechanism is identification, in which a boy or girl adapts by incorporating to his or her ego and or superego the personality characteristics of the same as their parent or same sex parent.
Hmm.
Um, as a result of this, the boy diminishes his castration anxiety, which has to be pretty high in that. It's like, oh my god.
In this reality that he's
Yeah,
creating,
yeah,
yes,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
yeah.
Because his likeness to his father, and that kind of protects him um, to the wrath of their maternity, if you or their maternity rivalry.
Mhm.
In the case of the girl, this facilitates identifying with the mother, who also understands that in being females, neither than possess a penis, thus are not antagonists.
That's one thing that he really loved was women. Tell you what,
Mm-hmm.
and Freud was all about that.
So the last one is the and I'm gonna murder this. I know the dunament, I guess.
During the moment,
Dun.
Din,
I'll be here during the moment.
Dinamente.
So the
Dinamente.
the unresolved
Dinamente.
son is what this is. Father competition, psychosexual possession of the mother might result in a phallic stage fixation that leads the boy to become a bit aggressive, overambitious, and maybe a little bit vain. Therefore, the satisfactory parent handling the situation of the Oedipus complex are mostly important in developing this kid into who they are, essentially. This is because by identifying with a parent, the boy internalizes morality. Thereby, he chooses to comply with social rules rather than just push against them, essentially.
Mhm.
This motherfucker was crazy, bro.
Yeah.
This nigga,
So,
he's out here, bro.
we could all assume here that Freud's self-analysis produced no magical results, and his own neurosis and a dependence on Fleiss actually became more pronounced. But he eventually improved and continued a daily period of reflection for the rest of his life, which some say led to a lot of his theories about human nature or confirmed theories he had been deriving from his experience. So there's that, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The nigga was crazy.
And
Fuck
that
that.
it's not all bullshit, and it seems like a lot of the non-bull
Yeah.
came on later once he got through his own
Got through the crazy shit.
issues.
Once he
Yeah.
stopped searching for ill dicks and got over wanting to fuck his mom, then he did. It's like, oh
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Now I'm here. Now, probably stopped doing
Right.
cocaine around that time too.
Yeah. And back to children. I promise we'll get away from this soon, by the way. But he found that they do
I hope.
have powerful sexual feelings, which are particularly apt to involve sexual attraction to a parent, usually of the opposite sex. But children sense that these desires and fantasies are so wicked in the eyes of their parents and other adults that they thrust them into the unconscious and forget they ever had them. So now he's thinking that all molestation business was just repressed feelings that went uncovered in adulthood and came out as false memories, which was much more popular of a notion to the public.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right?
Yeah. You don't say. You don't say.
Some critics say that this is him trying to save face for his business. Supporters say that this is him trying his best to uncover the truth and publish his findings. Y'all fucking decide. I mean, we know that way too many kids have been diddled, and we know
Mhm.
that sexual feelings and thoughts occur quite early,
Did you say diddled?
way before we're capable of processing them.
The fuck?
And it's easy to see how someone would try an inappropriate thought about a parent, and that it could rear its ugly head later on in life.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Yeah.
Sorry if anybody's been through anything.
Yeah, you know, I
Yeah.
mean,
That's
Sorry.
fucked up.
it happens a lot,
Yeah.
you know,
Sorry, folks.
and
We're here for you.
yeah,
We'll talk
and
to you.
it doesn't happen to everybody, thank God, you know, and
Happens a lot more than people think.
Well, I mean, and
honestly.
if you're a guy and you're going through this, I will go ahead and say, out of personal experience, I was touched upon, had to deal with certain things.
Yeah, me as well.
I'm
man.
I'm not afraid of admitting that, and that's something that is few and far between, especially with guys. Is I think it's that subconscious, innate fear of being less than what you should live up to as being a male. And
Yeah.
because something happens to you, like what happens to you doesn't define you. It's how you pull yourself out of it.
Yeah.
And it's what you make of that situation. And so don't be afraid to speak out for real. Luckily, my brain shut it down for about 18 years. And but I mean, still, you have to talk about things.
Yeah.
You have to get
May-
it out there, and
may as
don't be
well, man.
afraid because of something happened to you. So it couldn't have happened to anybody else. It happens to a lot more people than you think it does,
yeah,
Of course.
and it's something that needs to be touched on a lot more than it is of
How
the
sensitive it is.
the
Man.
perception of
Yeah.
society's like, oh no, guys can't be molested. It's
It happens, bro. We've talked about this
it's out
before.
there,
We've connected.
right?
I've been through some shit myself, but like, it's. I mean, it does happen.
Yeah.
And you really have to just pull yourself together and keep rocking. You know what I mean? Like it's.
Yep.
We could go on for this days, but
and
Mhm.
it's clearly traumatic, right?
yeah,
Of course,
hella
you know.
traumatic.
And I mean,
bro.
Drew,
Hella traumatic.
you did say that it was repressed
Oh,
in you for a very long
for a
time,
long
you
time.
know? And so
Yeah.
I do think that he did hit on this. I think
Mhm.
he patients that, you know, this was definitely like
But I also
an
think he
applicable
forced
thing.
trauma on more people than he brought out trauma from people,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
that's what's kind of
Yeah.
fucked up about it. But
But
anyway,
yeah, that's usually I don't know,
everything that we think is cool now had a brutal beginning,
exactly. Yeah, that's what I was going
and
for.
he
Is that
brutally began
yeah,
Yeah.
sitting down and just talking with crazy people. Because
right.
before
Yeah.
then, they were witches or fucking wizard madmen or mad women. Like it wasn't like a patient.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh, we can maybe fix this
Yeah.
motherfucker.
I mean,
Like,
he's basically
you
using
know,
a hatchet when a scalpel would be much better.
Yeah.
You know what I
100%.
mean? But at least he tried.
yeah,
And kind of like we were talking about a couple weeks ago, and that like Wundt, right?
Mhm.
A lot of people develop some really important chapters of psychology, if you will,
Mhm.
in an effort or
Right.
say
Right.
that can't be right. I'm going to go into this.
Yeah.
And same situations happen with Freud. A lot of
Yeah.
people are like, "This is total utter
Mhm.
bullshit.
yeah.
Let
This
me
is
find the
fucking
truth."
crazy.
You
Yeah.
know. So
He's
I
a
mean, and I
fucking
can only
madman.
imagine that a lot of the people that he, like, uh, you're, psycho if, or this happened to you and this happened to you, so you're going to turn out this way. I can only imagine that a lot of those people were the people who discredited him. Shit, because
Of
they're
course.
like, nah, motherfucker, this shit is fucking for real life. Sorry you didn't go through it, but
Yeah.
this
This
is
is
how
really
it
what's
actually
cracking.
works.
and I also I
I
guess
mean,
I'm sorry that you wanted to kill your dad and fuck your mom.
Yeah.
yeah.
Hopefully, not a lot
Sorry,
of us
guy.
do that.
That was your agenda for the
And that
whole
was
world.
before the coke.
Yeah. Yeah, this happened before. Yeah, that thought was in his brain well before the cocaine happened.
All right.
Hmm.
Okay,
Yeah,
so I
anyway.
did want to kind of break down these psychosexual stages, and just a forewarning if y'all aren't on board of this idea, is mostly crap, honestly. So he believed that the personality developed through a series of stages in which the pleasure-seeking energies of the id become focused on certain erogenous areas. An erogenous zone is characterized as an area of the body that is particularly sensitive to stimulation, like the pee-pee. During
Say.
during the 5 sexual stages, which are oral, anal, phallic, and latent, and then finally genital. The erogenous zone associated with each stage serves as a source of pleasure, right? They're mostly established by the age of 5. Early experiences play a large role in personality development and continue to influence behavior later on in life. Each stage is marked by conflicts that can help build growth or stifle development, depending on how they are resolved. If these stages are completed successfully, a healthy person is the. Again, this is all crap. If certain are not all crap, but most crap.
Yeah.
If certain issues are not resolved at appropriate age, fixations can occur. A fixation is a persistent focus on an earlier psychosexual stage. Until the conflict is resolved, the individual remains stuck in this stage. So, the oral stage is birth to 1 year. The erogenous zone is the mouth. The infant's source of interaction occurs through the mouth, so the rooting and sucking reflex is especially important. The mouth is vital for eating, and the infant derives pleasure from oral stimulation through gratifying activities such as tasting. Observationally, that makes sense. Kids are always putting shit in their mouths, and they survive by sucking on the boob.
Let me see what's going on. They're like puppies at that point.
Apparently, the primary conflict is this weaning process. The child must become less dependent upon caretakers. If fixation occurs at this stage, Freud believed the individual would have issues with dependency or aggression. Oral fixation can result in problems with drinking, smoking, or nail biting.
Well, I got some oral fixation.
Anyway, so what's the next one, bro?
The anal stage.
Oh, wow.
All right.
There's that.
This is 1 to 3 years.
That's because you're shitting a lot.
Basically,
I guess you're shitting a lot.
During the anal stage, Freud believed that the primary focus of the libido was controlling bladder and bowel movements. The major conflict at this stage is toiletry. The child has to learn to control their bodily needs. Developing this control leads to a sense of accomplishment and independence. Positive experiences during toilet training stage serve as the basis for people to become competent, productive, and creative adults. Inappropriate parental responses can result in negative outcomes. If parents take an approach that is too lenient, Freud suggested that an anal personality could develop in which the individual has a messy, wasteful, or destructive personality.
Shitting all over the place.
Anal explosive?
Yeah.
Expulsive, yeah.
Shitting all over everything.
If parents are too strict or begin toilet training too early, anal retentive personality develops in which the individual is stringent, orderly, rigid, and obsessive.
They don't poop enough. Yeah.
Hence the anal.
Yeah, we still use that.
Yeah. Anal retentive.
Retentive.
And it's not
anal ass.
Real, really.
Right?
Like,
it's kind of redundant.
Stuck up ass.
And then back to Drew's phallic stage. Right? Is 3 to 6 years. The erogenous zone is the genitals.
Why is it Drew's
phallic stage?
I
was like, why is Drew just phallic over here, bro? You need that Pfizer, my guy.
Freud suggested that during the phallic stage, the primary focus of the libido is on the genitals. At this age, children also begin to discover the differences between males and females.
You gotta quit talking about my genitals on the air, man.
I mean, hey, get that Pfizer, kid.
So, this is the whole Oedipus Complex, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Drew's phallic stage. That's what Freud said, right?
Yeah.
Drew's phallic stage.
Psychologists such as Karen Horney, though, disputed this theory.
Her name was Horney?
Mm-hmm. Calling it both inaccurate and demeaning to women.
Right.
Instead, she proposed that men. You need to. Yeah. That's
name was Horney, though.
I don't appreciate that my phallic stage is upsetting to women.
Drew's phallic stage made this horny woman mad. And that tracks as a statement.
That's a statement.
that is inaccurate within this context. But I really hope somebody
All right,
pulls
anyway.
that blurb, and then that
Anyway,
just
all right,
follows you around
let's
for the
go
rest of your life.
Forever.
Let's
Yeah,
go
yeah.
facts. Let's go facts. Let's go
Just
back
like-
to the facts. Let's get back to.
All right.
Her name was horny. Anyway.
So I think she's just going the total opposite, right? 'Cause she proposed that men experience feelings of inferiority because they cannot give birth to children, a concept she referred to as womb. So Freud
Womb
comes out with
envy.
penis envy.
Ah.
She strikes back with womb envy.
Yeah, so that womb envy. Yeah.
Then you have the latent period,
Mm.
which is 6 to puberty. Apparently, all sexual feelings are inactive.
Huh.
Just nothing.
Oh yeah, just not there.
Nothing's there from
Yeah.
6 to puberty.
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
During this stage, the
Alright.
superego continues to develop while the id's energies are suppressed. Children develop social skills, values, and relationships with peers and adults outside the family. Of the ego and superego contribute to this period of calm. The stage begins around the time children enter school and become more concerned with peer relationships, hobbies, and other interests. The latent period is a time of exploration in which the sexual energy is repressed or dormant. This energy is still present, but is sublimated into other areas such as intellectual pursuits and social interactions. As with other stages, Freud believed that it is possible for children to become fixated or stuck in this phase. Fixation at this stage can result in immaturity and an inability to form fulfilling relationships as an adult. So then you have the other stage, which I forgot what I said.
Genital.
We already hit genital.
The
Genital's next, though.
Oh yes,
Hey.
of course.
Oh,
There we
boom.
go.
Let's go.
Get to
Is-
the genitals.
is puberty to death.
All this shit's about
Puberty to
genitals.
death.
Uh-huh.
All this shit was
So
rooted
a
in
lot
genitals.
happens until you're 6, then nothing happens,
No.
and then you got one thing for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
The onset of
Mm.
puberty causes the libido to become active once again. During the final stage of psychosexual development, the individual develops strong sexual interest in the opposite sex. This
Across the
stage-
board, huh? Just
apparently so.
across the board.
This
Mhm.
stage begins
Interesting.
during puberty but lasts throughout the rest of a person's life. Where in earlier stages, the focus was solely on individual needs, interest in the welfare or of others grows during this stage. The goal of this stage is to establish a balance between the various life areas. If the other stages have been completed successfully, the individual should now be well balanced, warm, and caring. Unlike the many of the earlier stages of development, Freud believed that the ego and superego were fully formed and functioning at this point. Younger ruled by the id, which demands immediate satisfaction of the most basic needs and wants. Teens in the genital stage of development are able to balance their most basic urges against the need to conform to the demands of reality and social norms. So there you go.
There's that, huh?
We got some
Hot
yeah.
facts.
bullshit checks for
So
me, Drew.
yeah, I'll tell you why this is mostly crap. The theory is focused almost entirely on males
Yeah.
instead of the female psychosexual development.
Yeah, of course.
The
And
other half. of
Yeah,
society.
yeah.
bro, he literally thought that women were mad because they didn't have dicks.
Mhm.
That's it. That's
The
dry.
most
That's
insane
it.
thing to me is that a majority of his patients were women.
Yeah, it's crazy.
A vast majority of his patients.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Crazy.
and his theories are kind of too difficult to test scientifically. Concepts such as libido are impossible to measure and therefore cannot be tested.
Mm-hmm.
The research that has been conducted tends to discredit Freud's theory, obviously. Future predictions are a little too vague. How can we know the current behavior was specifically caused by a childhood experience? The length of time between the cause and the effect is too long to assume that there is a relationship between the two variables,
Mhm.
obviously.
No doubt. No doubt.
Freud's theory is based upon case studies, not empirical research. Also, Freud based his theory on the recollections of his adult patients, not the actual observations of the children that he studied.
This motherfucker was studying kids, dude. Who trusted their kids with this motherfucker, bro? Anyway,
Well, he was handing out free coke. I don't know.
I was about to say, hey, look, this is 8-ball. Let me see little Johnny for like 2 hours. I got you. Don't worry about it.
Well, I mean, and so this
Jesus
gets into
Christ.
like homosexual in Freud's theory. Like another criticism of Psychosexual Stages is that the theory focuses primarily on heterosexual development and largely ignores homosexual development.
Right.
Which is all natural.
Yep.
By the way.
So how exactly did Freud explain the development of sexual preferences? Freud's theory suggests that heterosexual preferences represent the normal outcome of development and suggested that homosexuals represented a deviation of this process.
Oh.
Freud's own viewpoints on homosexuality varied, though, at times expressing biological explanations and at other times social or psychological explanations for sexual preferences. Unlike many thinkers at the time, Freud was unconvinced that homosexuality represented a pathology. He also believed that attempts to alter a person's sexuality were kind of futile and harmful, which is
incredibly ahead of his time.
Is very true.
And at the same point, he probably, probably was bisexual.
He actually thought that everybody was bisexual.
Oh, see, look at that. I didn't even know.
Yeah,
how
well,
he dropped high
there was
facts.
a letter
So-
written to him
so he
in
got the high
1935 by a mother that wrote him to ask that she treat or that he treat her homosexual son. Freud wrote that while he believed homosexuality was not advantageous, it was certainly not a vice or something to be ashamed of. Freud wrote, "It cannot be classified as an illness. We consider it to be a version of sexual function produced by a certain arrest of sexual development."
Hey, whatever pops you clutch, baby.
So while Freud's theory implied that homosexuality was a deviation in normal psychological and or psychosexual development, many contemporary psychologists believe that sexual orientation is largely influenced by biological factors, very obviously.
Yeah, and we're going to get deeper into that further in this season.
A little later on.
Stay tuned. Keep tuning in. Keep supporting us. 5-star reviews, friends, facts, and fiction. Oh, shit, nigga, we out here. Yeah, and you know how we doing. Friends, facts, and fiction at the movement. All right. What we doing? Back to these high facts. Let's go.
Yeah. So, now to something that
was off the cuff as fuck.
wasn't bad, actually. Something that's less crap was his breakdown of a person's psyche, and we've been kind of throwing out some words here and there or whatever, but I thought it would be fun to break it down. So
break it down.
It began as the unconscious, preconscious, and conscious.
Did it?
But his work on psychosexual development, he found this to be too simple. So he came up with some new words. I bet we all know: id, ego, and superego. And against popular opinion, they're not necessarily like three competing versions of yourself, like an angel, which would be the superego, and the devil, the id, on opposing shoulders with you in the middle. You know, that really common thing.
Yeah, the classic like red suit guy, white suit guy.
Yeah. It's a good mental image, but honestly, trying to think of them as like names of groups or clusters of mental processes that serve different functions as you wander on through life. So like in a newborn drunk person, all mental processes are id process, right? Unconscious and primal. Screaming and crying to get something you want or to get out of an uncomfortable situation, pissing and shitting yourself when it's time for it, instinctively sucking on a nipple when it's presented to you. There's no logical reasoning in here, right?
There's a time for shitting and pissing yourself?
Not going into it.
Just instinctual demands for the satisfaction of primitive desires for self-preservation.
Yeah.
Right?
It
like
is.
Hunger, thirst, horniness, right? It seeks the relief
nipple
of tension.
Mouth suck.
Exactly. It seeks the relief of tension without any consideration of social
Shit happened to me
rules
last night.
or the
Anyway.
practical consequences of relief-seeking acts, like a drunk person.
Yeah.
What?
I was drunk last night. Anyway.
So the child is slowly taught the social construct of right from wrong through reward and punishment, directing it into acceptable behavior, and then a little later on through. Once this really starts to develop, there's a secondary process of thinking, which is the ego or self, which develops and becomes differentiated from the id as the child grows. In that way, there's not a sharp separation, but like an overlap, like a Venn diagram, basically. And this is where it gets a little squirrely to me. Ideas in the id that enter the ego and create anxiety, such as the Oedipal impulse, are thrust back by repression and walled off so they cannot re-enter consciousness. That's some Freud bullshit. But
interesting.
Yeah. Their impulses are consciously controlled by the ego, like don't steal something or masturbate in public, right? So back to the idea of training.
You can't do that.
No, you're not supposed to.
You can't steal and bust one out in public? I mean, you ever been to New York?
It's called a heavy B&E.
So So this is
out the park. That one's
this
out
is
the park.
you
Good shit. That was good shit.
How to behave and why, thus allowing for self-criticism and self-control. In contrast, the superego, which monitors and censors the ego, is unconscious and critically important to governing of social behavior. It develops within the ego as a result of the Oedipus Complex, apparently. At which time the child coming to identify with the same-sex parent absorbs the parent's and beliefs and makes them part of himself or herself. Essentially,
that's creepy.
You must not, you should becomes I must not and I should. All these self-imposed rules form the ego ideal or superego, or commonly your conscience.
Hey-o.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at
so
that.
the ego
Full circle.
So the ego of someone adrift on a life raft may want to keep their food and water rations for themselves, reasoning that if they share it, everyone may starve. The superego might override this and insist on sharing, regardless of the outcome. And a fun little bit of sexism on Freud's part.
You don't say. Freud's sexist.
A little bit.
You don't say.
He believed that women lacked castration anxiety, therefore a less intense Oedipal crisis, which of course leads to a less developed superego and moral sense throughout life.
Wow. What the fuck?
Hilariously enough, he had his fucking daughter read that shit at the 1925 International Psychological Congress.
I can't even. No. See, this is why motherfuckers hate this dude. He did some dope shit, but he's a goddamn shitty person.
Anyways, when the id is to the ego and superego, the person's behavior is either pathological or criminal. When the superego is too strong for the ego, the person is guilt-ridden and frustrated, or moralistic and persecutory of others.
Persecutory? Is that like a meat and cheese board?
Exactly.
It is a big meat and cheese board.
So basically,
a
healthy person can allow themselves to have a good time and do it without going to
the charcuterie joke.
Oh, I got it.
Okay.
He got it.
He right on through.
Yep, yeah, just right on through there.
Acknowledge my persecutory, charcuterie.
Well, Freud also came up with some pretty decent defense utilized in an unhealthy way, relatively. His daughter, who had to read
that trauma,
the sexist paper, was also a psychologist and psychoanalyst, and she made them a little bit better.
So she not only had to read this for her dad, but also knew that it was fucked up.
Yeah,
basically,
and then redid it in a better way.
So, this is fucked up, but I'm gonna read it. Also, make it better.
Pretty much, yeah.
So she said that denial is a relatively primitive sense in which the individual simply fails to perceive or acknowledge an anxiety-producing reality. Rationalization is a sophisticated version of denial. The individual acts out on one motive but justifies the act in terms of another that is more acceptable. Reaction formation goes a little step further, rating and displaying for all to see a trait exactly opposite to the repressed one. Republican senator. Anyway, displacement.
We're gonna go there.
We could.
We could very
can.
long.
We can, and that'll be a longer episode than we need right now. Motherfuckers just don't want to help people.
Yeah.
Like it's literally, it's like help people or not. That's where it's going. Anyway,
tax breaks. All right. Displacement directs repressed feelings towards an acceptable substitute. Man gets in trouble at work, so he yells at his wife, who takes it out on the kid who kicks the cat.
Right.
It happens.
Yeah.
My guy kicks the cat.
Yeah.
It's a classic.
Son of a bitch.
Oh, kick the cat.
Anyway.
I was from, my older cousins used to play kick the possum.
That's better than kick the cat.
Kick the possum, yeah. The possum,
it's still kind of.
Yeah. Swap. Anyway, that's a story for another day, guys.
That made you sound way more redneck than you are.
Yep.
Come on over here, guys. We're gonna go play kick the possum.
Bro, I'm from such a country town. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll go on to the next one.
Yeah, go on to the
intellectualization.
Intellectualization.
Fends off anxiety by taking an ostensibly intellectual interest in an impermissible desire, a painful loss, or that of the like. A tourist, essentially.
Yeah.
So
someone that likes to make
words. That's good words.
Someone that has like a maybe like a super secret, fetish of like S&M or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So then they like make a documentary about S&M. So they can kind of like live vicariously through it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I see.
Okay, and then we go to projection. A very common defense mechanism is the attributing of the one's own unacceptable impulses to the object of those impulses. So, like the KKK believing that black individuals are vicious animals when, of course, it's the KKK that are the vicious animals.
Oh, trust me.
Exactly. Okay.
And then, I think I've told that story, right? On this podcast before? Yeah. I've told that story before.
So the last one is sublimation, finally, which is the most pro-social of the defense mechanisms. By me, superego and ego transmute the instinctual demand to some socially valuable related activity. So us using music or this fucking podcast is a sublimation of the impulse to exhibit ourselves.
Hey.
Or a sports ball player and aggression.
Hey.
Hey.
Thank y'all for tuning in.
Did you like that?
Thank y'all for helping us mentally.
I mean, for real.
Mm-hmm.
Cheers to that.
So to sum up his theories, I think a quote of some psychological historians is pretty interesting. When we add up the total from our search, balancing the positive against the negative, we find that Freud has fared rather well. But like all theorists, he has proved in the long run to have far from a perfect score. No fucking shit. He seems to have about a respectable number of issues, but he was also wrong about some important things. If one considers only his formulations concerning men, and if further one considers only his theoretical propositions, his record of correct hits is excellent. So if you take all the bad shit out of his theories, it's okay. A good step in the right direction.
You take out
you ignore
the
all of the crazy.
ill dick obsession, the mom obsession, the cocaine addiction, the sexism, the bigotry. Oh, bro.
Yeah, dude.
You had some good
own it,
shit,
man.
bro. You was doing some dope shit. Like,
Right.
you know. Yeah. Okay.
That was fun, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fun wraparound.
Mhm.
Anyway,
Real quick,
wrap around, reach around.
he-
Anyway,
Wrap around, reach around.
he developed
leave that there. Leave that there.
he developed mouth cancer. Surprise, surprise.
Oh.
Yeah,
His doctor
tobacco was his thing.
lied to him and said he didn't have mouth cancer, and he got worse and worse.
Wanted
And
to
he went
kill
to
him.
another
Wanted
doctor,
to
and the
kill him.
doctor was like, "Hey, bro, you got mouth cancer.
You
right?"
dead.
And then he had to escape the Nazis, who he didn't first, and then it was like, "Oh shit, this is bad."
Huh.
And a lot of his papers had gotten a lot of tracking.
Yeah.
And so
Mhm.
Britain was like, "Hey, we'll take you and your family."
Mhm.
He was even greeted by like huge crowds and
Yeah,
shit
yeah.
or whatever. And then he and his daughter Anna agreed, once the cancer got so bad, to allowing his doctor to kill him.
No.
Huh.
Yeah.
Kevorkian style.
Yeah.
Was that case? Farvo?
Yeah, Fargo.
That
yeah.
type of vibe?
Fargo. Fargo,
Yeah.
eh?
Anyway, yeah.
He did it with
Lost that reference.
Oh crap! What is it?
Morphine, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Yeah, like over 3 days, the doctor intentionally overdosed him with morphine until he finally
It took him
died.
3 overdoses to die? Damn.
Yeah.
Turn
Yeah,
up.
it was a lot
G
slower.
had
like,
a tolerance.
it
Oh,
was-
he's on cocaine. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's had tolerance for shit, bro. It's like, oh, nigga, that ain't nothing.
It was a lot slower.
It's like, I'm 3 shots deep, 6 beers, the beginning. For some people, that's the end of their night.
It was a lot slower,
You know?
like Michael Jackson process, I guess.
Dark
Turn.
turn.
Okay.
All
Wah,
right.
wah,
Let's
wah.
get up out of there. All right. Dark turn. Okay.
Oh shit!
All righty then. Back to the hot facts. We out of there?
I think we're out
Are
of
we
hot
out of there?
facts.
Are we
I
out of the
think-
hot facts?
I think we're out of hot
Damn,
facts.
I thought
bro.
we were back in the hot facts.
Okay, so
Alright.
that concludes another episode of Friends, Facts, and Fiction. This
That's-
was
was
episode 6.
Wait, now you doing outros?
Uh-oh.
Freud Rage.
Freud rage.
Is that what you
I guess.
That's how we doing it, huh?
I'm charming and good with words.
And an excellent researcher and just a dope dude. Anyway, so
Did you like it? I was being Justin.
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
So thank y'all for tuning in, man. This has been another episode of a podcast called Friends, Facts, and Fiction. This episode, Freud Rage, episode 6, season 3. Conclusion of the history of psychology. Now we're getting into present day shit next.
More or less.
Yeah, now we get into present day. So keep tuning in, keep supporting us. If you want to give us some money or some support, anchor.fm/Friends, Facts, and Fiction. Check it out. Peep that. 5-star review. Give us that follow on Spotify. Give us that who, what, and do nanny on what and who nanny. And we out here. We're doing this thing, man. We're doing it for y'all. We're doing it for us. We're doing it for
He was doing so good. for a minute.
everybody around us. Yeah, it left me for a second. Now I'm bringing it back.
Something about some poo nanny.
Damn
I
it.
don't know.
Now I'm bringing it back. It's distracting me.
That's
out
all
here.
I heard.
Yeah.
Listen. Thank y'all for listening, man. Sigmund Freud, he's crazy motherfucker. Actually don't know. Look deeper in. Is actually a mentally disturbed man that inadvertently is helping a lot of mentally disturbed people in this time.
Yeah.
Which is wild
a-
to even fucking think about. I mean, like, the shit that he did is the reason why motherfuckers sit and get talked to today. Because without that, they're just locking them up, which we're not far from it. They still just do that any fucking way, to be honest. But anyway, we're going to keep trekking in this season. Email us, contact us. We're doing shit. We do it. That's what we do.
Mhm.
We love y'all. I'm Justin Hammonds, and I'm saying love, live life, because it's worth living, y'all.
And I'm Drew saying, stay informed. Throw a little be kind in there, and you'll make a difference.
Bang, bang.
Grab, never liked you. Always loved you.
That was way too quick for the
Never liked you, always love you.
For the effect.
Sign off.
So anyway, y'all stay tuned, man. Also, last time I'm telling y'all, tune in Mondays 7:30, Facebook, fucking YouTube, Twitch. Tune in, Friends, Facts, Fiction across the board. Find us. Y'all know how to use things. Do it. Let's do the thing. And email us, all that shit. We love y'all. Please be safe out here. Remember, the pandemic's still real. Be safe, motherfuckers. This has been a podcast called Friends, Facts, and Fiction. And we out.
Friends, Facts, and Fiction, we out.
Not to be copyrighted by Friends.
Oh, hey, Grace. Hey, I'm sorry. We are thugging. I'm a little faded still.
Yes, you are.
Yes, you are. Dad.